Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, man who had been reported missing killed in police confrontation. A man who was reported missing on Wednesday, May 7, was fatally shot during a police confrontation at Caldwell Kingsville in Hanover at about 11:55 p.m. a day later. He is 27-year-old Christopher Williams of Strathbogie District, Savannah Lamar in Westmoreland, who had been reported missing. Reports from the police are that about 11:55 p.m. on Thursday, during a confrontation with lawmen, 2 men were fatally shot and 1 Browning with a magazine containing 2 9mm cartridges and 1 Smith & Wesson with a magazine containing 7.45 rounds of ammunition were seized. One of the deceased was later identified as Williams. The incident was reported to the Inspectorate and the Professional Standards Oversight Bureau and the Independent Commission of Investigations. Woman accused of stealing over $3 million from partner's home. A 30-year-old woman has been charged with larceny after she allegedly stole over $3.3 million in cash and appliances from her partner's home. She is Janalee Nesbeth of Vineyard Crescent Vineyard Estate in Old Harbor, St. Catherine. Reports from the Old Harbor Police are that the complainant was in a relationship with the accused and gave her the key to his house. Over a period of time, the man discovered that some money he had was missing. While searching for the money in his bedroom, he discovered that his 75-inch JCV television, valued at about $150,000, his Whirlpool stove, valued at $200,000, and the cash amounting to over $3 million were missing. A report was made to the police, and the search of Nesbeth's residence was conducted. She later turned herself into the police and was subsequently arrested and charged with the offenses after a question and answer session in the presence of her attorney. Her court date is being finalized. Police release more details on death of person of interest in murder of 9-year-old girl. The police have released more details on Monday morning's operation, which led to the fatal shooting of Giovanni Ellis, the person of interest named in the killing of 9-year-old Kelsey Farragon. Ellis was killed in Rose Hall, Sandy Bay, Clarendon. Assistant Commissioner Christopher Phillips, head of the Area 5 Police, said he was killed after he reportedly pointed a pistol at the police team.
And the weapon was subsequently seized after police took evasive action. We did make several calls and pleas for Ellis to turn himself in, but unfortunately he decided otherwise. We do understand the concerns and fears that this incident has raised, and we want to reassure the community that we are committed to ensuring the safety and security of all residents.
ACP Phillips was speaking Monday afternoon at the St. John's Primary School. The mother of Ellis, who earlier said that she had an estranged relationship with her son, shared that a mob descended on her house on Sunday in search of the person of interest.
I mean, look at baby them in our house. And all of them running with long machete and big iron and all sort of something. With the 2 little baby them in the house. Tell me what kind of people. Them have heart. Them are run con defend. Them have heart. This is 2 little baby in the house and look what them do. Look what them do yesterday.
St. Catherine North Police note increase in reports of sexual offenses. The St. Catherine North Police are reporting an increase in reports of sexual offenses. Commanding Officer Senior Superintendent Hopton Nicholson explained that this is due to people feeling more confident in the abilities of the police to handle their reports.
We realize that so far this year, the reports of sexual offenses compared to last year has been on the increase, and that's the reports. And I just want to clarify A lot of these reports, the incident took place a year or 2 years ago, but the reports are just coming to us as persons are now confident to report them. What is disturbing is that majority of the perpetrators identified so far this year are persons who are supposed to be the protectors of the victims. We're talking about fathers, we're talking about grandfathers, uncles, cousins, family, friends, and other caregivers.
Senior Superintendent Nicholson said that the victims range in age from 3 to 42 years, while the perpetrators are between the ages of 12 and 80 years old. SSP Nicholson was speaking Monday afternoon at a St. John's Primary School in St. Catherine, where 9-year-old Kelsey Farragon had been a student. The grade 3 student was raped and killed at her home on Friday. SSP Nicholson appealed to parents and the guardians to be vigilant in protecting their children and called for people not to turn a blind eye to suspicious activity.
We also implore citizens to report any suspicion of abuse with regards to children and ensure that you tell the police the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. A parent was recently arrested and charged for failing to report child abuse which was known to her. Now she's before the court.
Classes to resume Tuesday at Horace Clark High after alleged burglary over the weekend. Classes at the Horace Clark High School in Islington, St. Mary were suspended on Monday after the school was burglarized over the weekend. The burglary is said to have taken place early Saturday morning. Police reports are that around 1 a.m., the security guard on duty heard unusual noises. Upon his investigations, he saw 2 masked men tampering with lights along a passageway. The security guard informed the acting principal, who then alerted the Islington police. On the arrival of the police, it was observed that the principal's office door had been forced open and the room ransacked. A monitor box and a laptop were stolen from the office. The bursar's office was also vandalized and an undetermined sum of cash was taken. The thieves also reportedly broke into the staff room and forced open the container that housed the school's tuck shop, where they took snacks and juice. A release from the Ministry of Education said that items reported stolen include internet modems, a microwave, computer accessories, and the items from the tuck shop. Furniture and the fixtures were also damaged, light bulbs were shattered, and important documents were displaced. As a result of the incident, classes were suspended on Monday. However, students who were set to sit overseas examinations were accommodated. Education Minister Senator Dana Morris Dixon expressed her deep disappointment at the incident, stating it is disheartening to know that individuals would so callously disrupt the teaching and learning environment at Horace Clark High. Our schools must be safe spaces for students and educators. Classes are to resume on Tuesday, May 13. Crown tells a jury Dean paid for saying he disliked cops. The Crown on Monday argued that 3 cops charged in connection with the fatal beating meted out to Mario Dean while he was in police custody in 2014 failed in their duty to provide due care to their prisoner. In making its case, the Crown also told the 7-member jury that Dean's death was the price he paid for expressing his dislike for the police. The 3 accused are Corporal Elaine Stewart, along with District Constables Marlon Grant and Juliana Cleavon. They are all charged with manslaughter and misconduct in a public office. On Monday, the Crown pointed to testimony that Dean was upset at being taken into custody. Then things took a turn for the worse when his friend came to provide him with bail, and Corporal Stewart commented that Dean did not even know his address. It was at this time that Dean made known his dislike for the police, which resulted in his bail being delayed. He was then placed in a cell with people of unsound mind, the Crown argued. The Crown also noted that based on evidence in the case, Dean's comments triggered Corporal Stewart's decision to delay bail. It is blasphemous if you tell the police that you don't like them the Crown suggested in its address to the jury. The Crown further questioned whether the police had considered the risk of putting Dean in a cell with the people of unsound mind. A better approach, the Crown argued, would have been to encourage Dean to sit and calm down in the guard room. When Stewart, Grant and Cleveland escorted Dean back to the cell, can you say that they were executing a duty of care? The prosecution asked of the jury rhetorically before noting that a comment allegedly uttered by Corporal Stewart is closely relevant and cannot be separated. You don't have no manners. Me go teach you a lesson. I did if you did. The Crown reminded the jury of Corporal Stewart's alleged retort to Dean. The prosecution also tried to convince the jury of the credibility of one of its witnesses, an inmate who gave a chilling account of Dean's beating and the reaction of the cops when they were told what had happened to him. Earlier in the day on Monday, Trial Judge Justice Courtney Day ruled against the admissibility of the Jamaica Constabulary Force Lockup Administration Policy and the Procedures document, which deals with the treatment and welfare of people taken into custody up to the point of their release. He had reserved the judgment on the document, which the Crown had unsuccessfully tried on numerous occasions during the trial to have admitted into evidence. In his ruling, Justice Day noted that something more was needed for the document, which was taken from the internet, to be admissible. He further argued that while the document is relevant, verification is needed. The allegations in the case are that Dean was arrested for possession of a ganja spliff and placed in custody, where he was brutally beaten on August 3, 2014. He sustained severe injuries to his brain, which left him in a coma. He died 3 days later at Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James. It is alleged that the 3 cops were on duty at the police station when Dean was beaten. It is further alleged that Stewart, who has an additional charge of perverting the course of justice, instructed that the cell in which the attack took place be cleaned before the arrival of investigators from the Independent Commission of Investigations. The Crown is expected to complete its address to the jury on Tuesday at 9 a.m. The defense team will follow next with their arguments. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.